5, 4, 3. Hi, everybody. Dugroz here with Dugroz Reports. Welcome to my Saturday morning live stream. Today is Saturday, May the 23rd, 2025. 2026. And I'm reporting live from my house. Good to see each and every one of you on board this morning. Let's see who's on board already, and then we'll get into our normal pattern, looking at Dugroz data points, and then we will have the theme of the day. And today's theme of the day is about the Chase Sapphire Reserve and the IHG credit in their portal. Are Chase and IHG in love now? And does that make the CSR worth being redeemed? Stick around and we'll find out second half of today's program. Ian is on board. Good to see you. Ian likes data. Great. Glad to hear it. LN is on board. Good morning. And hey, look, LN also starts right off the bat, dropping a $1.49 super sticker. Celebrate. Thank you so much. LN knows there's a little secret that anybody who donates exactly $1.49, as shown on the screen, will get a bonus of 1,000 Dugroz points. I'll go ahead and serve those up here. Let's see. I got to find them. Oh, they're inside my lantern. There you go. There's your 1,000 Dugroz points. Hope you enjoy those. That was me. Double Animal Fries is on board. Ian K drops $1.99. Thank you so much. Celebrate. Appreciate the patronage. Nuracan71 says good morning. Vincent Pascal is here and celebrates 21 months of membership. Whoa. Celebrate. Have a great Memorial Day weekend. Thank you, Vincent. You as well. I see Little Roscoe. I see Sam K. I see Ron. I'm expecting math today. Here's DEM. Good morning. Stinky Monkey Baby says, Wepa. Just kidding. Wrong show. Happy Saturday to Dugroz and everyone. Brady is here. Good morning from a ferry between Argentina and Uruguay. Awesome. Oh, I'm supposed to be reminded to do something by that comment, aren't I? Do I have that handy? Bear with me just a second, folks. Brady had sent me something, and I kept forgetting to save it. Doggone it. I don't think I have it. I'm so sorry, Brady. One of these days I'll get to it. Wait, no, is that it? Nope, that's not it. I promise. I apologize. My bad. Luke is here from Luke's Points and Miles. Douglas Roy is in fact live. Thank you, Luke. A tier 50. Good morning. I love IHG. I'm excited to hear this content. Great. No way, Hefe. Good morning, Dugroz. You had me at IHG. Excellent. Double is also celebrating 8 months of membership. All right. Celebrate. I love me some IHG. CSR, not as much. Well, you win some and you lose some. So sometimes you just got to give a little. Sometimes you got to take a little. Oh, I accidentally closed a window. Sometimes you got to give a little. Sometimes you got to take a little. You got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them. Or maybe I should say, you got to know when to burn them, know when to churn them, know when to something or another. Hey, there's a song idea. Thank you for the inspiration. All right, let's go ahead and get into what we normally do, and that is the Dugroz data points. Always go around the horn in the world of points back, cash back, and more. Can't talk this morning. First data point, Frequent Miler says 1 week to go. World of Hyatt challenges, they're not inspiring. Now, I actually captured this last week. So the time has now come and gone. Yes, the new Hyatt award chart is now in effect. That went into effect on the 20th, 3 days ago. So just a reminder, if you haven't already booked your Hyatt, it might be too late to get the old kind of value. New kind of value, who knows? It's too hard to say. Next Dugroz data point here, also hat tip Frequent Miler. There is a 25% transfer bonus to Wyndham from City Thank You Rewards. So instead of 1,000 to 1,000, it'll be 1,000 to 1,250. And that goes from now until June 13th. So there was a time where I would have thought this was just an amazing bonus because I would have used it on Vacasa, but they killed the Vacasa redemption. Cottages.com in the United Kingdom is still a thing. Maybe, maybe not. We'll see. Will I use this? I will probably not take advantage of this transfer bonus, but I thought it was worth mentioning. We have 39 people on board, so if you've not yet done so, go ahead and click the thumbs up button, and that'll bring more people in here. Next data point, Doctor of Credit says Aldi stores in Michigan stop accepting American Express cards. Now, this is just based on crowdsourced data points. Numerous Aldi shoppers in the state of Michigan report that the store no longer accepts American Express. Even using Apple Pay with an Amex card does not work. Uh-oh, I don't like the sound of that because two reasons. One is Aldi is just pretty awesome by itself as a grocery store. And secondly, there have been some American Express offers for Aldi. So why would they not be accepted? Now, this might just be, I don't know, Aldi playing hard to get and wanting better rates or something from American Express. So they're canceling them in one state just to create a little bit of an uproar. Who knows? We'll see. Sam says, YouTube slaps up to 45% of each of your super chats. Ko-Fi takes much less, meaning that you get more. I do have something similar to Ko-Fi, except it's called Tip Jar, Tip Top Tip Jar. There is a link in the URL if you want to make a donation. Don't get me wrong, and he's right. YouTube does take anywhere from about 30% to 45% of each donation. The trade-off there is that it does help the algorithm a little, and you get your name on the screen, and that's kind of exciting. But if you want to be either an anonymous donor or support me to a larger percentage, go down to the URL and you can use that Tip Top Tip Jar link. I'll try my best to check it throughout the show. You might need to give me a reminder now and then. Again, if you want to be anonymous, you can. Gentleman Explorer gifts 1 Dugroz Reports membership. Awesome. Celebrate, celebrate. Thank you, gentlemen. I really appreciate that. Ian celebrates 19 months of channel membership. Celebrate, celebrate. Staying at IHG's in Australia this November. Oh, you know, throw another shrimp on the barbie. I've got one in-person data point today. Need to cover this because I didn't do a good job. The Wells Fargo Signify, and this is in my wife's name, it says, good news, your credit limit has increased. Your new credit line is $19,200. And I believe the credit line on this was $12,000. So they gave her a credit limit increase of over $7,000. This is my wife's card. Don't know why Wells Fargo just decided to shine upon us. Didn't update our income or anything, but for whatever reason, they decided, hey, have a little more credit limit. So thank you. And that's on a business card. Stacy is here from Stacy's Travel Points. Good morning. Happy Memorial Day weekend. I will listen on my drive home. Thanks for the entertainment. Ha ha. Well, you're welcome. Whether it's drive home, doing yard work, picking up the kids from baseball, as long as there is engagement, I am happy, whether it's live or after the fact. If you're watching this after the fact, go ahead and put a comment down below. I'd love to hear people talk about how they listen to the program or watch, listen, either one. Is it while you're mowing the lawn? Is it while you're washing dishes, making turkey and your hands are full of meat juice? 46 people on board. Click the thumbs up button. Keep on getting those people coming in here. Double responds to the end of the Hyatt award chart as we once knew it and says, Hyatt is going to boil the frog. Not too much devaluation up front, but once the excitement dies down, they'll quietly ratchet up the prices to peak and high peak levels. Can't say you're wrong. That's a good comment. Excuse me, I got to blow my nose. Pressing onwards here. MR says the only real I said that wrong. MR says only the real gangsters use the tip jar. I see what you did there. MR contributed last week. Thank you. Matt Clausen's on board. Howdy, howdy. Matt Clausen gets credit for partial inspiration for today's theme of the day. He sent me a text and we were talking it over. And actually, I had done some experimenting with it right before that, but there was some clarification. So thank you for the inspiration, Matt. Ian is 100% with double about the slow ratcheting up on Hyatt. Hopefully that opens up the availability. That's a good point. The fewer people who do it, the more availability there is. Everybody doing okay in terms of audio and volume? If I need to make an adjustment, just put a comment over here and let me know. George Rommel has arrived and drops a $4.99 super sticker. Awesome. Celebrate. Thank you for getting the ball rolling, everybody. I really appreciate the support. That really drives the algorithm. 49 people on board. Oh, now down to 47, but it was 49. We're close to 50. Some people saying hi to each other. Sam says, streamers who I moderate for use donation alert with CoFly. It audibly reads them out with a brief video and customized music. Oh, well, I never knew there was such a thing. I will poke around and see what I can come up with. I've kind of got the tip jar setup rolling now, so I don't really want to change it, but maybe there is that kind of thing on Tipper. Who knows? What's in this little thing here? Oh, no, I don't want oldest. I don't want highest. I want most recent. Yeah, okay. Well, I'll have to play with that. Thank you. And I didn't know you did moderation for other people. That's kind of cool. Double says your live timing works well for me on the West Coast Saturday morning. Yeah, I know it's 9:30 Central, so that would be 8:30 Mountain, 7:30 West Coast time, but some people are early risers. George says, have you looked into pays with Chase? It could turn some cards into 11x with buying gift cards. Better than ink cash. I have a little bit about that later on in the data points, but other than that, no, I haven't. I will think that over. Tio Rico says, howdy. Howdy back at you. Now we cleared 50. 52 people on board. All right, next Dugroz data point. This one is hat tip Daniel, the deal guru. And he says, Hilton Honors launches more nights, more stays promotion. Earn up to 4,000 bonus points per stay. Nothing super ultra exciting here. I'll give you a little more detail. You have to register first of all. Stay between June 1st and August 15th. If you stay 1 to 3 nights, you'll get 2,000 bonus points. If you stay 4 nights or longer, you get 4,000 bonus points. I'm assuming that means in one stay. So this isn't enough to go out and do a mattress run or anything like that. But if you're staying at a Hilton anyway, fair chance I do somewhere between now and August 15th. Might as well pick up 2,000 or 4,000 bonus points. Why not? Next Dugroz data point. Wells Fargo's coming at you with a checking account bonus. This is hat tip Danny the Deal Guru. With Wells Fargo, you can get a $400 bonus with $1,000 in direct deposits. That's pretty good. Offer ends July 7th. Now, note you have to be a new Wells Fargo customer, not just like switching from one checking account to another. You have to be a wholly new Wells Fargo customer. So this is only open to some people. The checking account does have a monthly fee. I believe it's $10. You can waive that pretty easily with a $500 monthly direct deposit. And I think if you maintain a bare minimum balance of $500 all week, you can also waive it. So it may not be something you want to do in the long run, but definitely enough to make it worth the bonus. Now, I already have many checking savings DDA products with Wells Fargo. So I won't be able to get it, but some people will. Double Animal Fry says higher spenders are more insulated from points inflation because they're less price sensitive. Plus, they'll probably see more availability. MR says this chat is usually filled with distinguished ladies and gentlemen, so no need for moderation. So far, I've never had a need for moderation other than one time, a long time ago. I did kick someone off the channel. Hopefully that never happens again. Sam says I moderate for around 4 channels, sometimes for 8 hours solid. Whoa. Thank you for your dedication. John gifts 1 Dugroz membership. That's John from John's Credit and Travel. Check him out. He's got his own YouTube channel. That's what he looks like. Celebrate. Just as good as a $3 super chat. And we'll get into what it means to be a channel member, a Dugroz diehard in a little bit. That's another way you can support the channel. If you join while this is going, we'll all celebrate together. Hey, John. LN says, sorry if this was already covered or is coming up, but U.S. Bank appears to have discontinued new applications for the Kroger cards. That was mentioned last week, and I didn't put a lot of detail into it, but some people did mention it. So if you wanted to get, 4% cash back up to $3,000 a year on Tap to Pay, sorry. Fargonaut's on board and says, hola from Granada, Spain. Hola right back at you, Fargonaut. Greet the Spaniards for me, please. That's pretty cool. Way to be in Spain. And Coder Coral says, doesn't say anything, just has become a YouTube member. Coder Coral Corral. Let me know how you prefer to be pronounced. Thanks for joining. Celebrate. Wow, just as good as a $3 donation. And you can watch all of my members only videos. There's almost 70. I had 69 at last count. So getting pretty close to clearing 70s member only videos. That's just the standalone videos, not counting members live streams like watching me walk across a scary bridge or the short little prank videos I sometimes do, just the regular long form stuff. Let's keep on keeping on here. Hat tip Danny, the deal guru. Hilton is back with some no lifetime language offers for Hilton cards ending 7/19. I didn't bother to list them out because it's pretty much the same offers as always. It's just that it's no lifetime language. But if you want if you want to take advantage of that no lifetime language Hilton offers, go to Danny the Deal Guru's website. There's a link on there. You can also find it on Doctor of Credit and a variety of other places. Coder Corel. All right, got it. That's how it would be according to phonetic rules. I just wanted to make sure. Personal data point here. I was at a restaurant recently, and I didn't notice till I was walking out. This little tiny sticker, we apply a supplemental fee to all transactions. That's their way of meeting the requirement of telling you that they charge an extra 2 or 3% if you pay with a credit card. And unfortunately, this place, even if you pay with a debit card, still charges it. So like your PayPal debit card or your Wyndham debit card, sorry, you're eating it pretty hard there. Don't love that idea, but I just thought the little tiny sign that's like, I mean, this is on the corner of a cash register. It's probably like 3 inches across, 2 inches up and down. It's not very big. It was just kind of amusing. Doctor of Credit lets us know that there is an Amex offer floating out there for Amazon. Spend $40 and get 1,000 membership reward points, and you can do that up to 3 times. That's pretty good. If you value your if you value your MR points at least a penny a point, that's a 25% return on spend plus whatever the credit card gives you. So check around. Some people have other offers. I think one person was like, if you spend $150, you get more. If you spend $120, you get more. It just varies time to time, place to place. Sam says, if you ever require a mod, I would highly recommend Nightbot. It's an AI automated moderator, and you can program to auto-post links, messages, and Nightbot automatically filters out spam. Awesome. As MR said, we're all ladies and gentlemen here. Other than that one very brief time, I've never had the need for moderation. Coder got this one, the Amex offer, and was pretty excited. I would be too. I only saw this early this morning, so I haven't even checked my Amex offer, so I don't know if I have that one or not. But you know what? There's another data point here. Doctor of Credit lets us know the Fidelity Visa 2% cash back card is back with a $150 sign-up bonus. I believe it's $1,000 of spend. Anybody who has the card can confirm that. Plus 0% APR for a year. I mean, the card's been around and it has this. I believe the sign-up bonus was just increased from $100 to $150. So if you want a simple, easy way to get $150 cash back, 2% everywhere going right into your Fidelity account, which you could invest. You don't have to, but you could. And no interest for a year. Not a bad card. 66 people are on board. Go ahead and click the thumbs up button if you would be kind enough to do so. I'm not sure who issues the Fidelity Visa. Is it one of those Elon cards that's like a backdoor US bank kind of thing? Not sure on that one. Frequent Miler, hat tip to them, tells us you can now earn Built points with Rakuten's shopping portal. Okay, that's not really the headline. They updated an old headline with this part in parentheses. Remember to switch back if you don't Remember to switch back if you don't have Built status. Let's look at the little box down here that was updated on May 19th. The last one-to-one payout from Rakuten to Built accounts for those with no status was on May 15th. If you don't have status with Built, future payouts will be at a 1 to 0.5 ratio. Therefore, it'd be advisable to switch your redemption method back to American Express or cash, I would add. Sometimes you need cash worse than MR points because it's kind of tricky to cash those out for a penny each. So just hat tip, if you were relying on Built with your Rakuten and now you don't have status and you don't plan to get status between now and August 15th, you might want to switch back. You definitely want to switch back. Unless you think half a Built point is worth more than one MR point, and maybe you do, but at least it's worth considering. Ian confirms that the Fidelity card is in fact issued by Elon. Elan, not Elon. Elon. Thank you to the 63 people who are on board. Here's another in-person data point. I'm an old-fashioned kind of guy when it comes to statements. I still like to get physical paper statements, partially because I'm paranoid. I like to, as I get them, open them, schedule the payment, and then, make a little physical notation, put them in a little bin, let them gradually cycle through. About a year later, I shred them. This was on my American Express Hilton Surpass card, although I also noticed on my Blue Cash Every Day and my mom's Hilton card, they all said the same thing. It's this new little line right here. Oh, can't zoom in. Effective immediately, we're adding the below sentence. You agree to use the card for personal, family, or household purposes only. And I thought that was interesting because this is basically saying we don't want you using a personal Amex card for business purposes. Now, it's probably been buried in the terms and conditions somewhere. Whether or not it was, I don't know. Does the fact that they're adding it mean anything? I mean, if you opened up a Amex Hilton card, personal, or a business gold card, and you have an S Corp or something, and you paid $5,000 in taxes towards that S Corp, or you bought $50 worth of belts from Belt Vendors R Us and then resold them for $100 each because that's your business selling belts. Would they deny you a sign-up bonus because, like, hey, there's the language? It's not so much what the language is as does this signal something? Does this signal a cracking down? I don't know. Do any of you have any input? I thought it was worth mentioning at least. Real Rewards Guru says, Dugroz, happy morning day, all. I hope we have some good barbecue planned for all. I don't know about barbecue. Usually it's more like hot dogs and hamburgers in our household, but we'll do something. Sam wants everyone to note that we can do so much better in the like-clicking department, and it's most appreciated. And better yet, it's free. Thank you. Click the like button. The other way is fine, though. I'll probably just say coder. Corel for the sake of coder, just coder for the sake of brevity. No Way Hefe says, I prefer when restaurants offer a cash payment discount instead of credit card surcharges. It gives me bad vibes as I leave the restaurant. Yeah, I agree with that too. It's a little frustrating, especially when you are like, all right, just want to make sure they take credit cards. Oh, look, right there on the door, Visa, MasterCard, Discover, Amex, we're good. And then you don't know that there's a fee until you get the bill. Maybe they have a little tiny sticker about that big on the cash register, but you came in a different door or something. Coder wants to know if the Amex lingo is trying to crack down on things like buying groups. Don't know. We went over that one. We went over that one. We went over that one. Sorry, my vision. Hey, I'm 40-something now. Here's a data point. This is hat tip to upgraded points. Award alert, award alert. Lufthansa or Singapore business class to Germany for 6,000 points. So there's I don't know if I'd say wide open, but more openings than usual. And some of these dates have 4, 6, 8 seats available in lie flat business class. Let me give you one example that they highlighted here. For example, if you want to go from JFK to FRA, that's Frankfurt, 60,000 points on August 16th. You're booking all of these with Aeroplan. May 25th, which is in 2 days, if you want to fly from Boston to Munich, that's got the same thing going on. So if you want some travel to Deutschland this summer, you've got options. And although I'm not an experienced European traveler by any means, the 2 times I've done it, my thought process has kind of been just get to Europe and then reposition from there. Because Europe is, the entire continent is about the size of the continental United States, roughly, at least the part you're likely to travel to. So, you land anywhere in Europe, you can get to wherever you need to go within 2 to 3 hours, generally. Personal data point. So my last single release, The Edge of Rewards, is now available on Bandcamp. You'll find a link in the description box, but it's also super easy to remember. Dugroz.bandcamp.com. Dugroz.bandcamp.com. If you download any of my songs, I will give you 5,000 Dugroz points. Somebody already did, but it doesn't tell me who. So speak up. We'll go honor system if you did that, and I'll make sure you get your Dugroz points. No problem. You can join in with Cesar, Chad, John, and myself in listening to our 90s style boy, not 90s style. I mean, this was an actual group back in the 90s. I've got some other music on there also, so go ahead and check that out. Another personal data point. So I have a Citi Strata card, not Strata Premier, not Strata Elite, just the Strata. This is the no annual fee one that replaced the Rewards Plus about 6 months to a year ago. And I had the old card design, just got the new card design. I like it. I think it's pretty crisp looking. Got the waves. It's not blue. It's not gray. It's not black. It's kind of a off-white, kind of a bone white. Looks good. I'm pleased. Might keep that card just because it looks nice. Okay, I won't keep it just because it looks nice, but it is a nice ancillary benefit. I'll give you some examples of ways that you can support my channel so you can become a member. We already talked about that. A Dugroz Diehard. I have one and only one channel membership level. Look down here, find the join button. $2.99 per month. That's $3 roughly. You can cancel anytime. So if you want to join and then do all of the members only videos, cancel a couple months later, I won't be offended. Like I said, I've got almost 70 members only videos. Here's some examples. I think a lot of the members really like the members only videos. And then I mentioned that you can support me by using the tip jar. Again, first link in the URL. It's also fairly easy to remember. It's tiptopjar.com/Dugroz reports. And that's a way you can support me if you want to be anonymous, or if you just want to support me and have a much smaller cut coming off from YouTube. They only charge like 3%. Speaking of that, I just got a tip jar tip 7 minutes ago from Spoon60. What is a Dugroz Live? $87. Whoa, $87? Wow. And that's without even knowing what a live is, or maybe you're being silly. Thank you, Spoon60. Celebrate. Oh, boy, I really, really appreciate that. Thank you so much. And then in terms of any other ways you might consider supporting my channel, you can support me by getting a good night of sleep. But Doug, how does a good night of sleep help your channel? Well, the mattress on the screen right now is the Sparrow Signature Hybrid mattress from Nest Bedding. The mattress my wife and I personally slept on for over 6 years. We really like it. We're still really liking it. Here's a video that I did 6 years ago. Here's a video that I did just a couple months ago talking about that. You can find a link to those in the URL. And if you would be kind enough to go watch the video, even if you don't have an intent to buy a mattress right now, that tells the affiliate that you like me. You really like me. I do get a little kickback of 2 or 3%. There is a lifetime renewal exchange. You can swap out that top layer, and you can do that once in the lifetime of the mattress, totally for free. 365-night risk-free trial and a lifetime warranty. I'm sorry, folks. I'm pausing because my family has a little bit of an emergency, not like a physical emergency, a financial emergency. So I'm going to type an answer to my wife here. Just use our checkbook in the drawer. Then once set up, I can switch it to his black checkbook, Wells Fargo checks inside. There we go. Sorry for the delay. This is great radio, isn't it? Okay, so yes, that is the Sparrow Signature Hybrid Mattress. And now back to the data points here. Here's a picture of a gas station where I've bought prepaid Visas before, and they've been out for like 2 months. Don't do that. Do any of you have frustrations when a place where you finally found a thing that works runs out of gift cards? Just makes me a little verklempt. Let's see. DEM says that one time in Bandcamp, that's it. Vincent says you should give out band albums in addition to Dugroz points. That's a great idea. I would love to. Unfortunately, I have not seen any way you can donate songs or give like a free code, because I would love to give those out for free. But I just took a screenshot, so I'll investigate a little more just in case it's an option. Real Rewards Guru says, pro tip, the Strata card, not Premier or Elite, can be product changed to a custom cash a month after you hit your sub. You sure about that? You sure about that? And I'm going to tell you why, because this was a long time ago, back in 2019. I'm going to tell you a story. Settle in, children. Story time here. Back in 2019, the City Strata Rewards Plus, which later became the Strata, was the third credit card I ever got. My intention was to get a double cash, which I still haven't done, but probably need to. Some random person on the internet told me, and it was a comment similar to yours, you can actually get the sign-up bonus on the Rewards Plus. I think it was $150. At the time, the double cash didn't have a sign-up bonus. Get your sign-up bonus. Like a month later, you can product change to the double cash, which is what you really wanted in the long run. So I did that, got my bonus, waited about a month, called, and the representative says, no, you can't do that. You have to wait a full year before you can do a product change. So that's one data point, and it's very out of date. It was 6 years ago, but just do your own research, I guess is what I'm saying. But thank you for bringing that up, Rewards Guru. I appreciate it. Now, if you've personally done it, just let me know. Ian says, wow, $87. That's big time. Yeah, whoever Spoon 60 is. Thank you. That was big time. DM says to Jay, I don't know who Jay is. Yes, did the same. Sam says, I'm now watching this stream and moderating another. Awesome. Hey, if any of you are watching multiple live streams at the same time, speak up and let us know. MR says, Dugroz is bigly when it comes to the mattress game. Don't sleep on his reviews. That's absolutely right. A noble spirit embiggens the smallest man. Real Reward says, I'm thinking of applying for another Strata 6 months after I got the first one. I don't even care if I get a sub. I understand that. Mike Newland says, spicy, spicy, spicy. Thank you, Mike. Thanks for being here. 52 Taipei says, I don't understand. Do you not have a Staples or Office Depot in your area? I do have a Staples in my area. What are we referencing with that comment? I'm not quite picking up what you're laying down. So feel free to give me more info. John says hi to Mike. John says hi to DEM. Real Reward says, I'm sure. I product changed it 2 months after I was approved. It's been 4 months now. Okay. Well, like I said, my data point was out of date. Plus, City has terrible customer service sometimes. At least they did back then. So it might just be one of those hookah things. Hang up, call again. Ellen says, I use my Strata card for 3X Transit and pet supplies. I'm also still grandfathered into the Roundup feature for 2 more months. Mine went away like 6 months ago. Real Reward said, my pro tips are all based on self-experience. Hey, name checks out then. I'm Jay. Oh, hey, are you the Jay that I met in Puerto Rico? That Jay? Or just some guy named Jay? Gold Homer says, I want to transfer my Dugroz points to someone else. No relation. I faxed in the form, but it's been 2 to 3 years. Should I send it again via carrier pigeon or keep waiting? Smoke signals are also an option. Do you know what a medallion signature guarantee is? It's like a notary, but even harder, and you have to pay for it. You didn't use the medallion signature guarantee. So please go to a small rural credit union, talk to a lady named Linda, who you can tell has been a smoker for at least 50 years. Ask her to do the gold medallion guarantee, and then she will fax it in for you. Then I think you'll probably be okay. Luke says City often lets you product change pretty quickly. Good to know. John says, you can call me Jay. You can call me Ray. That's probably from something, but I don't know what it is. Rewards Guru is laughing. Okay, Taipei, I think, is following up on the Staples gift card comment. Gift cards at Staples via MasterCard every month waive the annual fees. I'm assuming you mean purchase fee, but I know what you meant. If you mean using strategery certain cards to buy cards at Staples, like the CCC, CIC, Chase Inc. Cash to get 5X, or for other types of shenanigans, I'm very familiar. But I'm not exactly sure exactly how that fits in with our prior discussion, but I have done that before. Ian says he's talking about empty gift card racks, but you need those gas points in addition to office points. Oh. Now I got it. Yes. In fact, did I take a picture? I might have a picture. Let me see if I can find it here. because I learned not too long ago I can actually share directly. Okay, here it is. From my iPhone pictures to my setup here, StreamYard. I know good big words. Okay, so I was at Staples using the credit on my wife's Amex Business Gold. And I don't know if you noticed this. There is a prepaid Visa right here, but the cards behind it don't match. It was in front of like Sephora or something dumb like that. And there was like 3 other Sephora cards behind it. And I'm like, I think I know what somebody's doing. Somebody is hiding Visas for next time. Raise your hand if you've ever hidden a prepaid Visa or MasterCard. I'm with you. I get it. Thank you for interpreting, Ian. I appreciate it. Coder says in-store offers on Rakuten are underrated. Need to buy some furniture. Got an extra 5x on some big purchases. Got some more people saying hi to each other. DEM, I product changed from a Strata to a custom cache about 45 days later. Okay, well, I'm the one who's wrong then. Jake says 72 watching, 28 likes. Yeah, you can do better. Come on, people. Thank you, Jake. I appreciate that. All right, let's get back to some data points, then I'll catch up on the remainder of the comments here. Personal data point. This is the Dugroz Eats segment of the day. Stouffer's creamed chipped beef TV dinner. I haven't had one of these in a long time, probably 15 to 20 years, but I'm like, hey, let's try it. You know what? It says timeless classic. It is a timeless classic. It was good. Filled me up. It was like an entire meal. Probably not at all healthy, but let me know. What's your favorite TV dinner? If you're watching this after the fact, favorite TV dinner, Salisbury steak, chicken strips, hit me in the comments. Those little square pizzas. This is hat tip to upgraded points. British Airways is raising taxes and fees on award flights starting May 27th. And you're probably thinking like, how? It's already super high. Well, let's give a couple examples. Round trip between London Heathrow and Cape Town is about $255. Round trip between London Heathrow and New York JFK is about $670. Are you kidding me? That's ludicrous. So, yeah, especially leaving the United Kingdom. I'm not an expert, but the 2 times I've done it, fly somewhere else in Europe, then leave. Don't take a business class flight that departs from anywhere in the United Kingdom if you could help it. There are a couple really weird, tiny airports that avoid that fee, but most don't. Do you guys like funny stories? Funny stories time. There's a young lady who does a lot of YouTube shorts. I don't remember her name, but she pretends to be a hotel clerk, or maybe she actually is one now that I think about it, or was, and just does funny stories. This was a funny story about someone from Europe that thought they could, see Disney World and the Grand Canyon in the same day. So here's my real life story. In 2001, we stayed at a bed and breakfast in Michigan. This was the honeymoon for Mrs. Dugroz and I. The innkeeper said that the prior week, a couple from somewhere in Europe had booked the room. They chose Michigan because it was a central location and also rented a car. They expected to visit both New York City and the Grand Canyon during their 1-week vacation. So anybody ever have any funny stories like that of like someone from outside the United States who thought like, well, we'll stay in St. Louis so we can see the arch, but then on Tuesday I'll go see the Grand Canyon, and on Wednesday I'll go to Disney World, then on Thursday we'll go to New York City, and just kind of use that as our base of operations. More comments. No Way says Rakuten in-store will stack with Capital One in-store card offers. That's good to know. Mostly I see this combo for CVS. I got 30x back this way. Whoa, I need to remember that. Vargonaut says big word, shenaniganery. Yep, I'll start using that. Ian says that's someone hiding the visas 100%. You can just open up the spinner and take more out. They let customers do that, or you just do it in a confident way? Dugroz eating SOS. Matt Clausen says, I miss TV dinners. Yet another thing I can't have. Thanks, celiacs. Oh, sorry. I just realized very recently that you had celiac. So, bummer. My wife has some gastro things that she basically eats as though she has celiac disease. So there's some relation there. Not relation. There's a degree of understanding there. Banquet chicken. Yep, chicken pot pies are good. Tia Rico says, Shanine on a shingle. I know what it really means. Brings me back to my childhood in Michigan. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, that's kind of a childhood thing from the 80s, in my opinion. Sam says, if you don't like planes, drink Red Bull. It'll give you wings. Coder says, the VX is secretly a CVS co-branded card for me. Might as well be. In a confident way, hiding. Hiding gift cards. All right, catching up. Or not catching up, but more data points here. This one is Hat Tip Frequent Miler. Let's talk about buying points. Between now and July 27th, you can buy Hyatt points for 2.17 cents each. That can be good. Obviously, don't go use it at a Hyatt place. You're only getting 1.5 cents per point. But, you know, some of those high-end properties, because it kind of hits a ceiling, you know, you could be getting a night that normally costs $1,000 and only paying $600, something like that. There's more opportunities to buy points. How about IHG? We know they frequently go on sale for half a point each, half a cent each. Hey, right now that's happening, and that goes through June 6th. This might be targeted, says Frequent Miler. We're not sure, so take a look in your app. And then the one that's probably the most interesting to me is, it would help if I shared the right screen, is Choice Points. You can buy them for 50% off, which comes out to 0.69 cents per point. That's very close to the lowest ever. I think the lowest ever was like 0.65, 0.68, something like that. I have found that with minimal work, I can get Choice very easily in the like 0.8 range. With a little more work, around 1 cent per point, and with some degree of creative cherry picking, 1.25 cents per point pretty consistently on those Choice points. Frequent Miler also tells us that Rove has a thing right now called the It Pays to Chase More Rove Miles promo. Bonus on miles on hotels and retailers. So that's because Chase started this thing where they have a partnership with Paze, P-A-Z-E, which is a payment similar to like Google Wallet or PayPal. Basically, in some sense, it's a PayPal competitor. Now, there's not wide acceptance right now, and it's on a lot of overpriced stores like Omaha Steaks and 1-800-Flowers, that kind of stuff that always are running promotions because they have like a 500% markup. But it is there, and Rove is backing on that by offering this promotion. Here's a few details with that. For first-time hotel booking, spend $200 and earn 1,000 Rove miles with the code PAYS200. Spend $500 or 2,500 Rove miles with PAYS500. And then if you want to do shopping at select merchants, you got StubHub. I'll come back to that. City Experiences, Fanatics, Nike, Sephora, Etsy, and Chewy. Chewy, we're home. All right, the StubHub one is interesting. It's not listed on Paze's merchant website as a merchant, but it does allow you to check out with it. Read some of the articles on Doctor of Credit, Frequent Miler, because there are some tricks to getting to show up on your card and coordinate with your Paze account, but it can be done. Interestingly, so the CSR, which I still have, which we'll be talking about in the main event, does have a StubHub credit of $150 twice a year. First half, second half, first semester, second semester. So that's $300. There's some things I like about StubHub as someone who's not a big time natural user. There's some things I don't like about StubHub. For example, my most likely use case is Iowa State football tickets. My kids tend to go to, my kids and I tend to go to one game a year in person. And we usually go to one of the less desirable games. Like if we're playing in a group of 5 school, like this year, I think it's Bowling Green or something like that. And that game, because it's less desirable, on StubHub, I'm seeing like starting at $70 a ticket up to $90 a ticket, which I realize is nothing compared to some football tickets. But if I go on like a swap board or something like that and say, hey, I'll just meet you in the parking lot and pay cash, I can often get them for like $40 to $50 a ticket. So it is more expensive. So it's not really $150 of savings a year with that StubHub credit. I would value it maybe half of face value, maybe $75 twice a year, or $150 overall. We used it to get Dude Perfect tickets, which is coming to Des Moines later this year. And same thing, netting it all out, I did have savings, but it wasn't dollar for dollar savings. So I would like to earn Rove miles if I'm going to do that anyway with StubHub. So why not earn an extra 9x? Now, somebody asked me earlier, like, does Pays turn Chase into like a really awesome deal? Someone would have to tell me in the comments, remind me what the CSR earns on Pays, P-A-Z-E. I don't think there's enough acceptance to make it into a big time strategy, but if it's one of those things that works out here and there, so be it, Jedi. Matt says it seems you get the points and the credit with StubHub, so 11x on the Chase side plus 9x on Rove. That's interesting because the terms and conditions, I just looked yesterday, specifically say you won't earn points on StubHub. Is there a possibility you earn it at the purchase and then when they credit it, they take away the same amount of points? I know like Amex does that sometimes. Even if you got free StubHub or maybe you only got 11x on the excess above and beyond the 150, that still ain't bad. Coder says, I've been debating picking up some World Cup tickets, and this may push me over. Absolutely. Double says, United flights on the CSR with Pays get 14x, 10x on Pays plus 4x on direct flights. Did you use that personally? Did it work? I saw a couple data points on Doctor of Credit that like, oh, it doesn't actually work, or United is buckling down or something like that. So I'd love to hear from you. 86 people on board. Not bad, but keep on clicking thumbs up. Haven't had a donation in a little while, so go ahead and keep that rolling right along here. That'll help drive more people in here. I would love to get triple digits. Haven't had that since March or so. Next, Dugroz. Data points. Upgraded points lets us know that Wyndham Rewards members can get free Applebee's delivery to their hotel. Well, that's kind of interesting. Now, just to clarify, it's sort of like when you're doing a mathematical computation. It's not free Applebee's. It's free bracket Applebee's delivery end bracket. So you still have to pay for your Applebee's. It's just that the delivery part is free when you're staying in a Wyndham. Let's grab just a touch more detail. Starting on May 19th, Wyndham Reward members can order Applebee's to go through the Wyndham app and set up delivery to a Wyndham hotel. If the order exceeds $15, you get free delivery. Interestingly, you also get 10x Wyndham points per $1 spent on all orders of $15 or more. Now, I don't know if that's on top of what the card normally earns or instead of. So, regardless, you want to get some delivery-free Applebee's. It's not enough to change strategies, but you can do something. George Rommel says you can buy a whole lot of plastic cards on Newegg with Pays. That's good to know. So, I'm sure the milking will become more and more obvious over time. Wasn't Pays launched like back in April, but people just now figured it out because there was never a public announcement or anything? Kind of weird. I'm assuming it's pronounced Pays. If it's Paze or something, let me know. It pays to use Pays. I mean, it just fits. Why wouldn't they say it that way? Sorry, folks, I have to blow my nose here. Here we have a personal data point. I mentioned this a couple times in recent days. I had a Amex offer on my Hilton Surpass card. Add your card to Apple Pay. Make at least 3 purchases, and you will get $10 as statement credit. So on May 19th and 20th, I made 5 small purchases. All were either at a gas station or a vending machine. 365 Market is a vending machine company. They're all over the Des Moines area. So made those little purchases. The nice thing is they all code as either dining or gas. So I'm getting 6x on my Hilton Surpass, even though those are only worth like half a cent each. And then there it is. Okay, got my $10 statement credit. It randomly picked Casey's as one of the merchants to credit on. So I got that. Thanks, Amex. Appreciate the free $10. I believe that offer is still open until June 4th, so you might want to poke around and see if you have it on any of your Amex cards. That's the only one it was on for me. It was just the Hilton Surpass. It wasn't on any of my other 3 cards. 2 cards? 3 cards? How many do I have? A BCE, a BBP, and a Surpass. Yeah, my wife has some, but those are only 3 I have. Taco Bell. Guess what happened to Taco Bell? I once again had a little pop-up that said, hey, don't forget to use Upside and you'll get some cash back. This one was really good. 24% up to $20. got me $2.35. Not bad for a $10.39 purchase. They do exclude tax. I've actually been rocking it with upside on restaurants lately. I know lots of people talk about it, but I will mention I do have a refer a friend. There it is. Dugroz 8785. Somebody used my refer a friend. I got 10 cents in upside. Thank you so much. And I think I'll get 10% of whatever you earn for the next 3 months or something like that. Another easy way would be just scan the QR code on the screen right now. Dun, 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 dun. Somebody tell me about the best success story you've ever had with upside. Next Dugroz data point here. We're going to talk about US Bank a fair bit. But first, I'll kick it off with this article written by Nick Ray as a frequent miler. Has US Bank abandoned the idea of adding transfer partners? Now, he admits in the article there's no inside information or data. He's just basing it off the fact that back in like September or August of last year, they said transfer partners are coming soon. We all assumed it would be in mid-December when the Altitude Reserve lost 1.5 on real-time rewards, RIP. It didn't. And then about a week ago, they actually removed the banner that says coming soon, transfer partners, from their reward center. So the question is, have they abandoned the idea altogether, or is it just they realized coming soon from December to April is really not in play anymore? So let's just take that down, and when we're ready, come back to it. Sorry, folks. I was grabbing a pair of socks and lost my balance. I don't know, but it is just an interesting thought piece. So while we're talking about US Bank, something interesting that I found recently, and this was on a couple different websites. I think it was on Doctor of Credit, but I just went to my own US Bank account and tried to figure it out. I have a frustration in that I can't see a whole bunch of the US Bank cashback offers, similar to Chase offers, Citi offers, Capital One offers. US Bank has them also, but for some reason they just don't show up on my app. Sometimes I'll even get a notification and then I go there and it's like the 3 default ones and that's it. I can't see the one that I actually want. It shows up as a notification, but not on the app. So somebody said this in the comment section. US Bank has a weird thing, whereas if you have a business card, at least once it seems like you have to call in and ask them to merge your accounts, and somehow like putting a business card on your personal account kind of messes things up. But there is a workaround. Unfortunately, you have to do it on the desktop. So if you're ever trying to find US Bank offers, log into your account on an actual computer, you know, the big screen kind. Up here at the top banner, click rewards right there. Click rewards. And then it'll bring up a screen where there's a list of all the cards you have on the right. Click on the one you want to deal with, this button right here, view rewards and benefits. And then you'll come to a screen that looks kind of like this, cashback deals over on the far right. You want this very bottom button, bottom right, view all deals. Because what was happening is I was only able to see like the 3 default ones here. I couldn't get to all, but view all deals. And you'll get them. And while I was there, I noticed that there was a CVS Pharmacy 10% cashback up to $5 maximum. I don't know if that'd be worth making a trip out of your way, but if you're using your Capital One offers anyway, why not bring a US Bank card with you? Pick up another Amazon gift card. They usually trigger. So hopefully that helps someone. Let me know in a comment if that did assist you, whether live or in person. Jazz Fan is here and says, good morning. Good morning. Gold Homer says, once you refer about 10 people to Upside, you get really good Upside referral codes. Mine is $17 plus cashback percentage on first $10 purchase. I signed up a couple dozen people at work. That's awesome. Jazz Fan said, oh, got a cough. Jazz Fan said, I finally figured out how to enable gifted memberships. Turns out my account was so ancient, I had the wrong type and had to change it. Why do things always have to be a PETA? So one thing I found out is you can only accept gifted memberships on your primary account. So like in my case, 16 years ago, I created Dugroz, just plain Dugroz, not Dugroz Reports. And technically, Dugroz Reports, even though it has more subscribers, is now the secondary channel. So I can accept on my other account. I can't accept on this one. Whether there's a way to change it or not, I don't know. Coder asks if I use Plastique to pay my mortgage. I'm debating if I want to get the CSR now, but I'm working on some other subs right now. If it works for mortgage, I can meet the sub. It only works for mortgage on a very specific subset of cards. I think it's only MasterCard and Discover, definitely not Visa. And then certain banks like US Bank and Capital One won't allow it. So you have to find this type of card, this issuer. Good luck. No, I do not, because it's too restrictive. And unless I'm doing a sub, it wouldn't be worthwhile. But one of these days, the stars will probably align, and I probably will. Sam reminds everyone we can do much better than like button clicking. Please do so. We did get up to 80 at least. Jazz fan says Reddit, virtual YouTubers, something, OT, winning any memberships on YouTube. All right, give that a shot, folks. See if you want to accept a donated membership or have your account toggled so that you can accept a donated membership. Hey, we jumped up by 5 people. Maybe several of you hit the thumbs up button. Thank you so much. Next data point here. More US Bank information. So I opened up a US Bank triple cash rewards, the third such one I've done, one of which is closed, one is still open. And you had to spend $6,000 within 3 months, 4 months. And I just did that. So I got my $750 sign up bonus. Oh boy, that's going to be nice because my cash back travel account has been low recently. In fact, it's in such a shambles that I haven't been able to reimburse my family budget for my last trip. And if you watch my channel in regular detail, you'll know I always try to shoot for a net zero on travel, where I make sure travel doesn't impact my family budget at all. So having an extra $750 go into my travel spending account, that will be very helpful. Jazz fan says, sorry for the spam. That gives directions if you should change your account. Yep, I know what you're doing. You're cool. Samuel Bent says it's 180 days for the triple cash sub, by the way. Oh, okay, that's good to know. I don't know if it was when I signed up or not. I thought it was 4 months, but either way, just always write down, take screenshots, keep it in a spreadsheet, whatever yours is. I hit that thing either way. Here's another personal data point. This is on my Chase Sapphire Reserve. So my renewal in terms of like paying the annual fee is in late August, maybe even the first couple days of September. But what's weird is my $300 travel credit reset recently. And I didn't realize it until I bought a couple of cheap plane tickets. Not cheap. I used American Airlines miles. I'm getting my son to a ninja competition with my wife later this summer. And it was one of those where it's just $11 per ticket in taxes and fees, you know, 5.5 there, 5.5 back, that kind of stuff. And then I saw a $22 credit show up on my CSR. I'm like, well, I don't have any of these credits left, but apparently I do. What I'm wondering is, if any of you have any way of knowing, is why would they start my travel credit so far before my annual fee hits? Now, I have a theory, and if any of you have experienced this, you can back me up on this. My CSR started its life as a CSP. At one point, I upgraded to a CSR, back to a CSP, and then back to a CSR. Same card number. Every time they have to give you maybe like a new grace period before that annual fee hits. So your card member anniversary stays the same, but the annual fee date keeps getting pushed forward a little bit. Is that plausible to the point where it's from like May to August, June, July, August, 3 months, really almost 4? Let me know if you've ever had anything like that happen. The nice happy accident with this is if I end up not renewing, I can use the entire $300 credit. I can use more Grubhub credits. I can use, well, lots of the credits are based on calendar year, so a lot of them wouldn't apply, but I can use a whole bunch of credits at least before I have to make that decision. Gentleman Explore says, I've used StubHub credit twice, no Chase points. Well, that's what the terms and conditions say. Same for Chase dining credits, no points on the amount of credit used. So like, remind me, is Chase dining $50 twice a year, or is it $100 twice a year? $1,000, I don't remember. Let's just say it's $50. If you go out and spend $67 on dining, you would earn points on the last $17, but not the first $50 that's offset by Chase dining. Matt says CSR is based on anniversary date, I think. The $300 broad travel credit, which is what we're seeing here, is definitely based on an anniversary date, not a calendar year. I'm confident of that. Real Reward said, yeah, the CSR fee hit about 4 months after the card member year when you product change to a CSR. Thank you for the information. Appreciate that. That means I could still wait until the annual fee, though, before I make my upgrade downgrade decision, right? I think so. This is a hat tip from Frequent Miler. You can now earn 3x built rent payments with the Air France/KLM credit card. I think that's issued by Bank of America. Now, I did clarify here. One article on another page didn't say this, which is why I picked Frequent Miler. You're still paying a 3% fee. So basically, you're buying in at 1 cent per point. Now, if you think you can do better than that on Air France KLM, then it would be worth doing. This is only for rent. And as John found out, unfortunately, the backdoor way of paying a mortgage with any credit card by pretending that it's rent no longer works. But there are a few cards, Air France KLM, Atmos, those are the only ones I'm aware of. And of course, any of the built cards avoids the 3% fee. But is that worth doing? Probably not. I think I'd rather just have 1x built, but there could be some specific use cases where, like, if you know you have a trip coming up, you might want to do it. Sam K says, dang it, YouTube. Hey, 95 people on board. We're getting close to that 100 mark. Upgraded Points tells us that Airbnb just added car rentals, grocery delivery, and FIFA. Here's what travelers need to know. I'm only focusing on the car rental part, and it's good, but it's only kind of good once. After that, it's probably not that big a deal. Here's the detail. Later this summer, travelers will be able to reserve rental cars directly through Airbnb. The app will suggest vehicles based on your trip and group side, and first-time renters will get 20% back in Airbnb credit. So the 20% back is what means it might be good. I think somebody said they were planning to use this. Obviously, shopping around with rental cars is the way to go, but that could be a good option. Unfortunately, it's probably only a good option once, because if it's like other portals, it's often beat by going directly to something like AutoSlash and shopping from there. Some people will have a code through their employer, some people through Costco, the American Association of Retired Quilt Makers, those kind of things. Sam tried to paste the tip jar link, but YouTube wouldn't allow me. Yeah, YouTube gets mad about pasting URLs of any kind, but it is right there in the description box if you want to make a tip jar donation. Thank you very much. And that, my friends, is the final data point before we take our midpoint break. So we'll go ahead and transition into that right now. Before I do so, though, I do have a treat for you today. You know, I've been sharing some Dugroz music with you lately, dugroz.bandcamp.com. I have a new song, or I should say a new old song, that I'm revising here. It's sort of like the Dugroz theme song. It's called Dugroz on the Points. And we have a special version today. We have a sing-along where you can sing along with me. So the initial version that came out was okay, but I let Suno make some of the lyrics, and there were some lyrics I didn't like. Like, one of them was apparently it thought I was obsessed with collecting stamps, which I'm not, and I'm constantly spilling pop on my watch. First of all, I don't even wear a watch. Joke's on you. So my powers in AI-based music have doubled since we first met, Count Dooku. So I've gotten better at it. So I was able to swap out some of the lyrics with things that made a lot more sense. So this will be the first time ever I've embedded a video into StreamYard. So we're hoping that this works. Follow along. Let me know what you think. This is also our biology break. So I'm going to go to the bathroom, but please just watch through this. Keep on clicking thumbs up and give me feedback on the song when I get back. Fingers crossed. Mr. Producer, roll that tape.
Saturday shirt, same one as last week. Dugroz on the laptop, he's a value geek. Print out map for a 2-lane haze. He's chasing down a waterfall behind the municipal maze. Little stone park with the chain link gate. He reads every plaque, then he's back on 68. Oh yeah. Casey's Pizza in a quarter mile. Signs on the highway, music on the dial. He's a 40-something every day, but he's getting what he never had. lights in fluorescent light. He whispers each inscription like a bedtime rhyme. State House dome in a postcard sky. He snaps one from the window, kids rolling their eyes. Casey's Pizza in a quarter mile. Signs on the highway, music on the dial. He's a 40-something every day, but he's getting what he never had. Bennigan's lunch at the edge of the mall, ordering dessert like he's 10 feet tall. Every mile, every roadside stop he saves, 'cause the trip was paid in points and president's graves. He's got maps on his phone, he's got points on his mind. Turns plastic into highways, into stories in kind. Waterfall mist in an old green vest. He's rich for a weekend and living a little more blessed. Casey's Pizza in a quarter mile. Signs on the highway, music on the dial. He's a 40-something every day, but he's getting what he never had. Bennigan's lunch at the edge of the mall, ordering dessert like he's 10 feet tall. Every mile, every roadside stop he saves on a quiet little life built of points and miles and president's graves.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Hopefully that came through okay. Let me know if the audio was all right on that. So that was the rough draft version of the Dugroz theme song, Dugroz on the Point. And that's available at dugroz.bandcamp.com. Actually, disclaimer, that is not yet available. There is an older version of me standing in front of James Madison's grave. Don't download that one. That's the old one with the weird lyrics about spilling pop on my watch. But what'd you think? Did you like it? Hope you liked it. Did you sing along? You were supposed to be singing along the whole time. So once the final draft is done, I'll post it as a standalone video, and you can let me know what you think of that. 87 people on board. Keep on clicking the thumbs up. We'll catch up on comments here, and then we'll get into the theme of the day real soon. Mr. New Faipu. Good to see you, Mr. New Faipu. Don't think we've met before. I have the Strata Elite. I want to get the Strata Premier for the sub and product change to custom cache ASAP. Did I hear you say it can be done in less than a year? A couple other people said that the Strata card, not the Strata Elite, not the Strata Premier, just the Strata, you can product change in less than a year. That's probably because it's a no annual fee card. But the Strata Premier and the Strata Elite, my understanding is you do have to wait at least a year from getting it. Now, you could open up the Strata Premier and then downgrade your Strata Elite in a year. Matt says, Phi Lately has to produce some sort of point collection opportunities. I don't know who Phi Lately is. Feel free to clarify. Source King says, I'm getting pushed to incorporate more AI at work. It's like having a slow-witted intern. Just can't do a lot of things, and all the work needs to be checked. Yeah, I'm in a similar boat. There are some good things. You just have to. It's sort of like a slow-witted intern that has terrible common sense, but if it's a task he can do it super fast. So it'd be like, hey, Frank, here are 1 million envelopes to alphabetize. And he's like, no, what does alphabetize mean? But once he learns, you can say go. And he's like, I'm done. Rita Copeland enjoyed it. Thank you, Rita. I appreciate that. Solid Liquid Fox. Awesome name. They should play this song at your funeral, Dugroz. Put it in your will. Okay, will do. Liked it. New again. I'm super late. Hello from the UK. Oh, hey, what you doing over in the UK? Probably collecting stamps. I don't know. Phi Lately is stamp collecting. Oh, okay. So that's why Apparently AI decided I needed to be a stamp collector. It's like, there's a nerdy 40-something guy from Iowa. What would he enjoy? Stamp collecting, very clearly. I think when I was a little kid, I got into stamp collecting for about 5 minutes. And the kids' version was like, if I get a letter from grandma, I cut the stamp off and save it, something like that. 84 people on board. Thank you so much. We're going to dive in now to the theme of the day. What is the theme of the day? Well, that's sort of like a main event, the main gist, the thing that we're going to talk about. So let me get ready to do that here. Quick asthma hit. And I may release this as a separate standalone video, so you'll hear me doing like my 5, 4, 3s every now and then. Just hang in there. This is live. It's sort of like you're watching a radio program being recorded. All right, slideshow mode. Here we go. 5, 4, 3. Today's theme of the day, the Chase Sapphire Reserve and IHG. Redemption? This is one of those play on words where redemption can mean you're redeeming your point. But there's another kind of redemption, and I think for any of you who are my age or even a little younger, the next screen will help you know exactly what I mean. Just when I think you couldn't get any dumber, you go and do something like this and totally redeem yourself. Sorry for the terrible gift quality. It was the only one I could find that had the entire quote. Yeah, that's me. This is Chase. When they totally nerfed the CSR and took away 1.5 in the portal and did some other stuff, I thought they were so dumb. But now they've done this thing that is related to an IHG credit, and I'm like, you know what? This is a partial redemption. Whether it's a full redemption or not, to be determined. So let's go back in time. Frequent Miler posted this article on January 1st. I just haven't thought about it that much. There's a new Sapphire Reserve benefit for 2026, a $250 credit for select Chase Travel hotels. And the list of hotels you can use that on are over here. We've got IHG, Omni, Virgin, Pendry, Montage, Minor, Pan Pacific. But we're going to focus on IHG because that's probably the one that I would use 99 times out of 100 from that list. And I bet if we're talking about my audience in general, it's still 90 to 95% over those. So let's assume IHG. And let's think about this a little bit. Now, fair notice, this isn't one of my extreme deep dives where I got, 10 hours worth of data points. This is a little more surface level-ish based on a personal experience that I had in looking to book hotels for a potential vacation. But before I get into that, there are some disclaimers here. Stephen points out something else that's important to be aware of is that a minimum of 2 nights is required to use this credit. That makes the credit much less appealing as you can't redeem it for cheap one-night stays, but it could still be useful nonetheless. Bummer. You know where this would really be helpful is those airport stays. Like you're flying into an airport somewhere, you just need to spend the night, then you're going to head off to somewhere else, or the night before you fly out, you have like an early morning flight, so you check into a Holiday Inn Express next to the airport. That would have been an excellent use case, but side. All of these portals, all of these credits, they all want you to do a minimum of 2-night stay. And you know why they want you to do a minimum 2-night stay? So that you don't do the very thing that I just said. Now, with that in mind, I will only show 2-night stays. So there's Dr. Dug, the more refined side of me that likes staying at more upscale places and likes looking for the finer things. There is an opportunity, he tells us, that there's a double dip here, and that's with the edit. So the Chase Sapphire Reserve last year added their answer to fine hotels and resorts. They call it the edit. Would you like to use the edit credit? Worst name ever candidate. It's also $250, and it has the exact same rule that it's only for stays of 2 nights or more. But that means you could also use it with the aforementioned IHG credit if a property is both IHG and the edit, or Omni or Minor, or whatever the other ones were. Combined, that's a $500 discount. And if you're like me, you're thinking like, let's look for hotels that are right around $500. So here's the personal opportunity that I'm going for. Now, my wife, Mrs. Dugroz, and I, Debroz is her name, we'll be celebrating our 25th wedding anniversary. I know that seems hard to believe. 25 years this coming summer, the summer that is starting right about now. And she had an idea, actually, to go to a certain place. And I've put 4 pictures on the screen here that are clues about the place that we want to go to. Anybody have any guesses? Put them in the comments. Couple clues. We've got some guy, looks like he's riding a horse here. He got some sort of message from this church maybe, and he's going to go spread that message around. We've got a couple very presidential looking fellows over here. Oh, I wonder if it's right next to the ocean. Could it be? Maybe, perhaps. Yes, this is Boston with a question mark. We have John Adams, his son, John Quincy Adams, who are both buried in the Boston area, Boston Harbor, and then the Old North Church, where Paul Revere started his famous ride, 1 if by land, 2 if by sea. Ian got it. Sorry, I didn't wait quite long enough. Yes, Boston is a place we'd like to go, partially because my wife is really a fan of art, like classical art, Monet, Rembrandt, Leonardo, Donatello, Raphael, Michelangelo, those kinds of artists, all the Ninja Turtles. And there's a couple big-time museums along those lines in Boston. I like it because, A, I could pick up 2 more presidential graves. I could also pick up another state capital because Boston is the capital of Massachusetts, as we all learned back in 4th grade. Goldhomer got it right. Boston, yep. Ian and Goldhomer, I will give you both 100 Dugroz points. It's not much, but it's something. Coder says, taking a trip to 1776. I would love to. Is that an option? I'll go look at things from then if that's the best I can do. Now, I put a question mark behind it because we had a specific week in mind where we could go. There are certain things in life that would have to go a certain way. And unfortunately, we won't be able to do very much booking unless it's totally, fully, 100% refundable between now and then. But it is on the plate for consideration for our 25th anniversary trip. It would involve leaving the boys behind, which we've done a couple times, but never for a full week. So that would be fun. So Dr. Doog has a alternate persona known as Mr. Roz. It's sort of like a Jekyll and Hyde type thing. Dr. Doog wants luxury. Mr. Roz only wants to save money and get value. So let's look at some of the hotels that came up there in Boston when I went to ye old Chase portal to see what was on the list. It always puts the edit properties first. So here's an edit property, the Ritz-Carlton, 2-night stay, $2,676. Mr. Roz is about to have a heart attack. Also, this isn't even IHG, so it's not eligible for the extra $250, just the $250 from the edit. So this one is not even in the world of consideration. How about the Newberry Boston? Still $2,234, and once again, not an IHG. So even if it was an IHG, like, oh, instead of $2,200, it's only $2,000. Great. No, this is not my thing. Now, I did a video 6 or so months ago about the edit and asking the question if it's overpriced. And the answer I came up with was about 20% of the time, it's actually better than the publicly available price. About 20% of the time, it's worse than the publicly available price. And about 60% of the time, it's right around break even, give or take 4%. Something can be a fair price and still be unaffordable. If I offered to sell you a brand new Lamborghini for $75,000, is that a fair price? My understanding is, yes, that's an extremely fair price. I still can't afford it. So even if the $250 bonus, even if your daily breakfast for 2, even if your $100 property credit's wonderful, 80% of the edit properties in the summer are just not working out for me every time I see this kind of stuff. Pausing for some comments briefly here. Gold Homer says, if you can figure out how to make your Boston trip on the first weekend of the month, you can use Bank of America museums on us. On us, like the United States, or like you personally? Thank you. No Way Hefe says Casey Jones is my favorite artist. I get that reference. MFAs in Boston is free for Bank of America customers. Oh, okay. What does MFA stand for? That must be Museum Federation of America, probably. How about that? I have no Bank of America affiliation whatsoever. Do I open a credit card just for that? Have to think about that. My wife had a plain Jane Bank of America card a long time ago. Guess we shouldn't have canceled it. All right, continuing on. In 5, 4, 3. All right, so now we're getting into the stuff that's more realistic. These are Holiday Inns and other IHG hotels. I totally blew that. Let me try again. 5, 4, 3. Okay, now we're getting into the IHG hotel. So here's a Holiday Inn Express Saugus Logan Airport. I'll probably mispronounce that. I apologize to any New Englanders. This one is not the edit, so it would only be eligible for the 250, not the 500. It's too far away. They call it an airport location. It's quite a bit away from the Boston Logan Airport. So this is a trip where we're not planning to rent a car. We're just planning to fly in, use either public transport or Uber Lyft for everything. We don't want to mess with a rental car. Everything we want to do is kind of right downtown. If you know anything about Boston, back in colonial times, it was almost an island. It was like a skinny peninsula into this like bulbous part, so it's kind of shaped like a light bulb. We want to be as close to that part, the original light bulb of Boston, as possible, not out in the suburbs or the far-flung areas. In fact, if we could do as much walking as possible, because I'm sure Uber is going to be super expensive with world situations the way they are, that would be good too. So, I'm not going to use that one, even though it says it's an airport property. Hey, just because you have an airport shuttle, you shouldn't call yourself the Airport Holiday Inn. How about the Crown Plaza in Boston, Woburn? $250 off, $443. Yeah, that's not too bad. But again, this one's just way too far away. There's a Staybridge Suites, Boston-Burlington, that's way too far away. I like how places will often say, like, the Holiday Inn Chicago / Elgin, and it's actually like 30 miles away from downtown Chicago. Same kind of thing here. It's a nice property, but it's just way too far away to take seriously. We have the Holiday Inn and Suites Boston Peabody, also way too far away. It's only 3.5 stars. I like to shoot for 4 stars or more on Google. That's the weird thing about Holiday Inns. You'll find some that are like 4.6 and some that are like 2.9. So always do your research with Holiday Inn, as there's huge amounts of variability. There's a Holiday Inn Express Boston. I wrote down, it's 43 minutes by public transportation to something, 25 minutes to others. Take 568, subtract off 250. Now you're down around 310 for 2 nights. It's not great. It's we have the Holiday Inn Boston Cambridge area, which is acceptable, 25-ish minutes, 4 stars, and acceptable, not great. Then we have the Holiday Inn Express and Suites Boston Cambridge, also acceptable, 25 minutes by public transport for the capital, 4.1 stars. Kind of expensive though. Look, $640 for 2 nights. And you might think, wait, wasn't that the same as the previous property? No, this is the Holiday Inn Boston Cambridge. This is the Holiday Inn Express Boston Cambridge. This is one of those really weird situations, although I see it a lot, where the Holiday Inn Express, which is supposed to be the more basic sort of family travel overnight roadside hotel, is actually more expensive by a fair margin than the Holiday Inn. I think it's because sometimes, for whatever reason, Holiday Inns are just old and the franchise owners don't keep them up like they should, so they can't command as much of a price. So this would be acceptable. It's still a little bit outside the range I really want to go with. And then I get to the Holiday Inn, excuse me, not Holiday Inn, but it is an IHG. Then I get to the Hotel Indigo, Boston Garden by IHG. Great location. It's a 15-minute walk to the Capitol and 25 minutes by bus to get to the museums that I want to go to. A little on the pricey side, $768, but take off the $250. Now we're down around $500 for 2 nights. I could use some points if I wanted to. So here's that aforementioned Boston map that I mentioned. So here's the light bulb here where it used to be like just a thin peninsula, but now it's pretty well integrated. I'd like to be somewhere in this area. So I've identified like this hotel. Here's one, here's one, here's one. These are not IHGs. That would be great options. The Hearts are places I want to go. Here's the 2 main museums we want to go to. We got the Old North Church. We've got the current Capitol, the old Capitol. I think the Adamses are buried somewhere down in this area, maybe a little further south. So I'd probably have to take an Uber to get to them. But everything else is kind of right here. They built Boston Logan over the water, so it doesn't even take that long to get to downtown, which is kind of nice. Right there, man, look at that location. Perfect. Oh, now you've caught Mr. Roz's attention because able to walk and save money on transport. Oh, that appeals to him. All right, so let's take a look here. When I click in a little more detail here on the Hotel Indigo by IHG, what we have going on is $923 for the most basic room, which might be a One King Communications. That's like the handicapped accessible one, or the One King standard, either way. But when we look over here, what do you see? Oh, I don't like this. Non-refundable is the only one rate option available. I don't want non-refundable. I need refundable. All right, well, let's compare a little more detail here. I looked it up directly on the IHG website, $801. Now, this is also non-refundable. It's under a special promo. They call it a special promo, whether it is or it's just slick marketing, called an early saver rate. If you book far enough in advance and choose non-refundable, they call it their early saver rate. Same thing, though. It's basically the non-refundable rate. So that's a difference of $122, or think about it this way. That's 49% of that $250 credit. So you go into this thinking, great, Chase gave this credit for 2026 for IHG properties. I'm going to save $250. Nope, psych. You're really only saving $128 on the net by the time you take everything into consideration. So that's kind of disappointing. Again, I just want to point out that early saver rate. That's what it's called, the early saver rate, which is a type of non-refundable. Now, it's worth pointing out, back in March, some people noted that Chase Travel started offering price match guarantees for certain cards, including the CSR, CSR Business, and JP Morgan Reserve. Strangely, not the Ritz-Carlton. But hey, I have the CSR, so that's what we're talking about here. And then there's a number of exclusions worth noting, and there's like 8 or 9, but the 2 that I want to point out are you can only match to non-public or wholesale hotel rates. Well, that's okay. On the previous screen or 2 screens ago when I showed you this is the non-member rate. So anybody logging in, John Q Public, can get that rate I showed you right there. And actually, when I said you're only saving $128, I didn't actually check it, but I bet you the member rate saves you at least another $20, maybe $30 off of that. So instead of I'm only saving $128, you might only be saving $100. Who knows? Now, all of these stays are loyalty eligible. So you can put in like your IHG member number. It'll flow through to IHG, and you'll still get your IHG points. So at least that. And then the second bullet point to notice here for exclusions is rates that are promotional. For example, mobile-only promotions and sales, loyalty member-only group, corporate negotiated meetings, AAA, government, military, senior citizen, coupon-based rates, or requires a membership to access are excluded. So like that, rates that are promotional, example, mobile-only promotions, why would they consider that to be a promotion? Don't count. So I am raising the French eyebrow of skepticism here. All right, this guy from the Dugroz Minor Character Collection wants us to know, or at least ask the question, will Chase honor the price match for an early saver rate? Even though it's just slick marketing for an early book non-refundable rate, is Chase going to be upset that it's not just called standard non-refundable rate? Because I did look at other bookings who have something called a standard non-refundable booking. The answer is, who knows? I don't know if they would honor that for price match or not. Have any of you used the price match? What Well, that kind of put a little bit of poo-poo on the Indigo and made it a little less appealing than I thought it was going to be. We'll pause there and catch up on comments here. I think there's some folks that have some insight about IHG in Boston that want to chime in here. Let's take a look. Ian says MFA is Museum of Fine Arts. A debit card is fine, but maybe it's only the first weekend of the month like Homer mentioned. Gold Homer says Bank of America gives free museum admission tickets to like 200 museums in the USA the first weekend of the month. Any Bank of America card works, even debit. Great tip. Bill Wright says, I'm actually near the Holiday Inn that's located in Elgin. That means you're also close to one of the very few remaining Bennigans. Bill Wright says, that's my town. Well, I'll have to come hang out with you sometime. My sister and her family live in those suburbs out there, Elgin, Crystal Lake, kind of that general area. New Again says, FYI, most Boston airport hotels are not that close to the airport. It's not like other cities. Okay, that's worth mentioning. I probably didn't word it very well. Whether it's called an airport hotel or not, it was too far away from downtown Boston where we want to be. Ian K says that last place is your only option. Dr. Duke's like, yes, get me there. Mr. Oz is like, I don't know about that. It's not as appealing as we once thought. Sam says, don't forget to hype Dugroz's videos whenever possible. This pushes the video out to everyone's video suggestions. I don't know a lot about hype, but if you're watching on a mobile device, you can hit hype if I'm a small creator, I think under 100,000 subscribers or something, so it gives me more publicity. Please do that. Sleepy Rod says that box in the Chase portal where you put your loyalty number doesn't work. It's never worked for me when I've tried it. I think the box is just for decoration. Anybody else had an experience? I think you could probably call up and have it added maybe, but that's dumb. I don't want to talk to a human. No Way Hefe says, I just want to mention you can use IHG points to purchase the Intercontinental Ambassador membership. That comes with a BOGO free weekend night and it comes with a $20 credit and other perks. If I remember correctly, that $20 credit was once per stay for breakfast. It's not every day. That did disappoint me a little. Ian says, besides the Indigo, there's a Hyatt in the Seaport that would work for you. Silver Line to the South Station is right there. I saw that. It's not a great deal, and I don't have enough points to do that. Neither Hyatt or Chase, either one. So that's not an option. I do actually have a truckload of Hilton points to fall back on if necessary, but this makes way better content for the video. So if the stars all align, I will turn to what I'm thinking of here as my first suggestion, but don't give it away, Ian. There's a little more coming here, so hang in there. All right, we will resume the presentation. In 5, 4, 3. Dugroz minor character girl says, I don't know. Will they honor it? Who knows? Are there any other possible properties that are IHG, preferably even edit, booked through the Chase travel portal? I guess I'm out of options. No, there is another, says Yoda. We have the Kimpton Marlowe Hotel by IHG. This is my Hail Mary. Will this come through for me? And I would also like to give a hat tip to someone, I'm sorry, I don't remember who it is, who pointed out the existence of this property on a previous live or either that or on a direct chat. Couple things worth noting. First of all, look at the arrows. The edit. This is an edit property. Wait a minute. This is an edit property and an IHG property, like those unicorns we were hoping for. Eligible for $250 select hotel credit and IHG One rewards. So we get both. So look over there, $960 for 2 nights. That would be knocked down $500 to $460. That's only $230 per night. Not bad. So we've got our map of Boston again, and you'll see, I don't know why the Institute of Contemporary Art. We're more the Ninja Turtle art, not the contemporary art. But it's right across the river/bay here. You do have to walk across this bridge. It'll take a little longer to get there. I think probably like 25, 30 minutes to get to the state capitol or the Old North Church, that kind of thing. But it is doable. So not as ideal, but still fairly good. Oh, this caught Mr. Roz's eye. We've got a 4.5-star rating on the Kimpton Marlowe. That is appealing to me as well, because anything over about 4.2, 4.3 is hard to get consistently. So here are our comparisons. So we're going to take a quick peek here, and we're going to see that this is a refundable rate, $960. All right, that's good to know. $960 when booking through Chase, $960 when booking directly with IHG. Now, again, this is the public rate, not the member rate. You'd probably save 20, 30 bucks, maybe 40 booking the member rate, but at least compared to what a member of the public would get, we're in the same ballpark. So I am liking this option so far. They're the same price. When my kids were little, I would say, like, you know, when you compare pictures, like, look, he has the same shirt as he does. Same. And they thought that was hilarious. So here's what we got going down. We have at the Kimpton Marlowe a bona fide $500 discount, not just a $500 discount on paper. We're paying $460 net for 2 nights. That breaks down to $230 per night. It also includes daily breakfast for 2 people for both days. Hey, there's 2 of us. That works out. Early check-in, although it doesn't specify how early is early, but that definitely could come in handy. Now, we're thinking a 4-night stay. So this would either be the first 2 days, the last 2 days, or I suppose it could be the middle 2 days, just depending on how that works out. The price did vary slightly. There was like as low as $903, depending where I move that slider, up to like just a touch over $1,000. I think $1,004 or something. I shot for the middle one just for the sake of comparison. A 4 p.m. guaranteed late checkout. Well, especially if it's your last day and you're flying in the evening, that can be nice. Or if it's the first 2 days, then you're transitioning to a different hotel, that can be very nice as well. A room upgrade at check-in. I don't know if that's guaranteed or not, and I wouldn't stake my firstborn child on it, but they say you get a room upgrade. A welcome amenity. That could be anything from free massages to a pancake to water bottles. Who knows? And then $100 property credit. I did notice in the T's and C's it says once per stay. So I'm wondering, like, if they give you, say, property credit, they tell you can be used towards like the spa. I don't know if it has a spa. Let's say you get a massage, and a massage is $50. You want to get one for you, one for your wife, and you want to go in and use them both. Do they let you, or they say, oh, I'm sorry, you can only use this on one item, one thing per stay? So you should have gotten the super duper massage for one person instead of the mediocre massage for 2 people. I don't know. If they let you use it on a meal, does that mean that you have to use the $100 all in one meal? It's not clear. And I've heard some people say the amenity varies place to place. I think Greg from Frequent Miler said he went to a couple different hotels on the edit. One gave him like a list of all the things you could use it for, and it was very flexible. The other was like, it's just in our gift shop. That's it. You have to use it in the gift shop. So who knows what that $100 property credit comes out to? I sure don't. Have any of you used the edit? What was your welcome amenity, and how did the property credit break down? I don't have a whole lot of in-person data points. Not a lot of people sharing. Hey, here's a box down the corner, a little picture of a rocket. This is from Super Mario Brothers 2, I'm pretty sure. It's being boosted up into the air. And what that's telling us is that this is also eligible for points boost. Well, that's appealing. What do we know about point boost? Well, it can vary anywhere from like 1.1 up to 2.0. In this case, it's 1.65x. So instead of redeeming your Chase points at 1 cent per point, you redeem them at a healthy 1.65. Hey, that's about the same as the boom, pay yourself back on the Aeroplan. You don't have to use your Aeroplan points. It's kind of a break even. The only advantage is you can only use so many Aeroplan pay yourself backs per year. 200,000 points, which equates to $2,500. So maybe you don't want to dip into that. So if you keep going here, what you could do is slide your slider to paying $500 in cash and the rest with points. I don't remember if there's a literal slider or not, but I know other things I've booked in the Chase portal, you can pick using some but not all of your points. So basically slide it down so the cash part is exactly $500. After that $500 discount, you would need 27,879 UR points to make it net free. If you didn't want to pay anything out of pocket like you're like me. That very much appeals to Mr. Roz. So Dr. Doog is happy because there's luxury. Mr. Roz is happy because they're saving money on transportation because you can walk places and it is net free. So that is looking like quite a good thing. It's Dr. Doog and Mr. Roz approved. I jumped the gun just a little bit. We're going to take a break for comments, and then I'll play catch up here. Got a lot of comments. 73 people on board. Oh, we didn't clear 100. Keep on clicking thumbs up if you would. Remember, tip jar tip, super chat, super stickers. All of those things are greatly appreciated to feed the algorithm, and 80% of whatever you donate is invested right back into my channel. Still got the $1.49 super chat option. Bill says, I've done 3 portal bookings with Chase/IHG. They show up instantly in the IHG app. So apparently you were able to type in your member number. You didn't have to call in. Ian says, I've got $300 in built hotel credits you can have if you can find a 2-night that works with him in Boston. I'm never going to use it. Hey, thanks, Ian. I appreciate the offer. Screenshotting that right now. I'll have to talk to you offline about how that can be used. Again, not sure if this trip is going to happen. I've got some free night certs to burn, but this is still a great exercise. Sleepy says, I'm not sure what I did wrong then. I put my loyalty number in the box, specified its IHG number at the time of check-in. Reception said all she sees is third-party bookings. All she sees is a third-party booking. I just splashed water on my glasses. Sorry about that. No Way Hefe says, IHG International Ambassador costs 45,000 IHG points. They gave me 1 free breakfast as the welcome gift and the $20 credit when I booked as a platinum. Great. Yum Yamal 4934 says, what do you think of the Chase Sapphire Reserve DoorDash credit? I think it's pretty mid. So like I use it for DoorDash Hy-V Chinese. Since Hy-V is a grocery store, it gets the full $10, but you can still have it delivered. But I have to give a tip. I'm still paying a little bit of a fee on that, not much. And then DoorDash is sometimes a little overpriced. So if I just get what I would normally get at Hy-V, I'm overpaying, factoring in tip, etc., and increased price by about $7. So of the $10 credit on paper, I'm only walking away with about $3 of benefit. Now, someone will say, but Doug, you don't have to do delivery. You could do pickup. And that's probably true, although I had a big problem with Hy-V once on a pickup order. So I'm not sure I'd feel confident doing that. So it's meh. It's not great. I use it occasionally, but it's meh. Tio says, I think that Marlo Kimpton lets you borrow bikes for free. This might have been the one online I was reading about. Some guy just went nuts, went ballistic in the reviews, gave him a 1-star review because they didn't have bikes available on the day. New Again says, that Kimpton location is great, Doug. Don't be fooled by the map, and you can take rail to get to where you need to go. That's good. And walking across the bridge is nice. I like bridges. Coder says, I'm guessing it's to prevent doing back-to-back bookings. When they say you can only use it once. So maybe it means you can only use it once per booking. Like if you come day 1 and 2, day 3 and 4, they say, hey, we're only giving you $100 amenity credit. Maybe. Like if you were trying to book both halves at the same hotel. Sam wants us all to smash like. It's totally free and you'll get some donuts. Okay, you won't get donuts from me, but you should be allowed to buy donuts. Samuel Benton says, if any of those credits for the editor like FHR, then they would just add the credits to your bill at the end for my experience. Obviously, your mileage may vary with it not being FHR. Yeah, I've heard a lot of people say that where they're just like, we'll just credit whatever. Anything other than, taxes and the rate itself. Gift shop, room service, eating something in the hotel, massages, pedicures, manicures, doesn't matter. Texas Dog is here and says, good morning. I'm late today. Howdy, chore. That was some reading failure. Howdy, y'all. I'm late today. Too many chores. Texas thinks DoorDash is trash. Triple trash. Juan Garcia's here. Juan from the MIA. Hello, Doug. Jumping in quickly. I will catch the replay. Thank you, Juan. I appreciate your willingness to come watch, even if you have to get a replay. And Ian says, agree. Kimpton is the best so far. Well, it is approved by both Dr. Doog and Mr. Roz. If we end up going and if the prices are still at that $960 range or close, I am very willing to do this. All right, back to the theme of the day now. Water. In 5, 4, 3. All right, so that solves our Kimpton dilemma, but let's look at others, not just Boston. Now, I wish I'd taken a lot of time to do this. I've only got 3 examples for you, and only one of them is the double dipping variety. I mentioned this a couple weeks ago. There is a Kimpton in San Antonio called the Kimpton San Antonio Riverwalk by IHG. There's actually a second IHG property also in San Antonio that has the word Riverwalk in the name, probably because they're both close to the Riverwalk, that is an intercontinental. It's a little fancier, a little more expensive. If you want to get the mostly free part or the free part, this is the one to go with. I randomly picked a couple days in August 8th and 10th, 8th through 10th. This is looking at the edit on the Chase Sapphire Reserve portal, $495. And this is booking directly through IHG, $554. Let's take a look. August 8th through 10th. Looks like free cancellation. I did go into this to make sure it was free cancellation, and it was. So for some reason, this is one of that like 20% where the edit is actually cheaper than booking directly through the hotel. So there we go. We got a daily breakfast for $200 property credit. We're going to knock $500 off this. I hereby declare this to be free. So if you've got no other use and you can get to San Antonio, go take your free weekend with your significant other and stay there and get daily breakfast and $100 property credit. And then for all your other meals, go to Burger King. Save a little bit of money. Let's move on to another example here. All right, so this is not the edit, but when I was chatting with Matt Clausen, we joked like, first of all, I said something like, oh, I know you can do loyalty eligible on their expensive properties, but like their basic properties, like a Holiday Inn Express, those aren't eligible for IHG One rewards. He's like, I'm pretty sure they all are, all the ones I've seen. Like, so let's say you want to stay at the Holiday Inn Express in Ogallala, Nebraska. I stayed there once before I was into Points and Miles. He's like, yeah, even that one. Like, okay, I'm looking it up. Sure enough, the Holiday Inn Express in Ogallala, Nebraska. This is on I-80, and it's basically on your way to a lot of places, but it's not really a place you would probably go. Although their town mascot appears to be a cowboy chasing a bull, so I think there's a rodeo in the area. Now, this is where you have to stay 2 nights to get the credit thing is a huge bummer. But let's say you're going to the rodeo out there in the panhandle of Nebraska, and you're going to stay there at Ogallala. Yep, even then. The price through Chase, $435. The price through Holiday Inn Express directly, $443. So again, the edit's actually slightly cheaper. This is not an edit. You don't get $500 off. You just get $250 off. So we're talking, what's that come out to? $235 minus another $50. I think it's $185 for 2 nights, which is under $100 a night at a pretty well rated. I think I looked it up. It's rated like pretty nicely, 4.3, 4.5 stars, something like that. At a well-rated Holiday Inn right off I-80. Say you want to drive from Des Moines to Denver. This is right around the halfway point. In fact, the time I stopped there was when my wife was out visiting her parents. Well, we both were. I had to come back early, and I stopped and saw the center of the United States. And then when maybe it was a different trip. No, that trip she came home on the train. There was one time she went to see her parents. They briefly lived in Colorado, and I met halfway and picked them up in Ogallala, or maybe it was some other nearby city. But maybe you want to make a weekend of it and take your kids to the rodeo. Not bad, not bad. How about Ottumwa, Iowa, my hometown? And I put this as November 29th through December 1st. This would be right after Thanksgiving. So like you get through Sunday after Thanksgiving, you go to church with your parents, and you just want to stay a couple extra days. This is what it works out to. Well, through Chase, $273. That's 2 more nights. Through Holiday Inn, $272 and change. I'll declare that to be exactly the same. So we're good. Again, this is not an edit, so you're not getting $500 off. You're only getting the $250 off. But hey, you're getting 2 nights at the Holiday Inn Express for $23. They probably have a way better bed than Grandma's house does. So yeah, by all means, go ahead and stay there. I think you'll like it. I would do that. That's it. Those are the examples I came up with. Like I said, it's not exhaustive, but Chat time. Is it worth it for the edit? Is it worth it for non-edit IHGs? Do you think Chase will renew the IHG coupon in 2027? And does it move the needle? Does it make it worth redeeming is a big question. So I have to say, after looking this over, I was totally unaware you could use it on Holiday Inn Expresses and Staybridge Suites and that kind of stuff before. Now that I am, that does fit into my Rip Trip strategy a lot better. So maybe I will keep the CSR next year. We're just going to have to see. We're going to have to think it over. Let me know what you think. Put your comments down below. All right. That part's over. Now let's catch up on comments and people can talk it over here. New Again says, I recoup my CSR annual fee within the first month of the United Kingdom. Can't do that with the Platinum card. Oh, cool. If you want to give more specifics, please do. Texas Dog says, the Kimpton in San Antonio looks nice. I thought about going there for a weekend. Sam says, can one do DoorDash faster while farting on the go? Yes, you can. JazzFan27 says, I tend to do things more slowly while farting on the go. Never trust a fart, or at least you shouldn't trust every fart. Coder gives me an explanation point upside down and then says, $194 a night for Holiday Inn Express in Nebraska still feels unreal to me. Inflation has been rough these last few years. Absolutely. That was before the discount price, I believe. New Again said, I meant to say you can recoup your CSR annual fee in 1 day. Can't do that with Amex Platinum. I recoup CSR in like 2 weeks without trying. Let's see. You probably did some StubHub stuff. You probably used the $300 broad-based travel credit. Maybe you used the edit and IHG both. That's it. I'm caught up on comments. Okay, I guess that's it. So we've concluded the theme of the day. Let me know what you think. I would love to hear your ongoing thoughts. If you have any other tips about Boston, again, will it work out? Don't know. There's a lot of variables that have to come into play before we know the answer to that, but I would love to hear your thoughts. We'll end with community tab comments. Every Friday, usually somewhere between about 5 p.m. and 7 p.m., I will put a community tab out there, and I will almost always put a picture along with it. I was a little tardy. It was more like 8:30 today. This is the picture that I posted. Oh. This is the picture that I posted. Looks like me standing on a bridge of some kind. There's something kind of interesting in the background that looks rather cassular in nature. So you can guess where the picture was taken. You can also ask me anything, and we will get into that now. Got to pull up my YouTube app on my phone. If you have questions in the meantime about this or anything else, let me know. All right. So Ron Byrne asked this question. When you go on travels, what do you keep in your cross-body bag? And then he made a guess about where it is. I'll come back to that in just a few moments here. Cross-body bag. Well, you're right. I am wearing a Chewbacca type bag there. What would James K. Polk do is what my shirt says. And I realized from making that video about Dugroz on the Point that I wear that shirt quite a lot. I generally, like when I'm going through airports and stuff, that's where I keep my passport. There's a little pocket in the back that's right up against my chest that's super flat, and that's where I keep my passport. Also, when going through the airports, that's where I keep my travel wallet. I might actually have it right here. Let me grab it. So travel wallet is here. It's a thinner wallet that just has a couple credit cards in it that are kind of like backup cards. I've got a Capital One debit card, so I might have my Charles Schwab card in there. It's real thin and fits in that cross-body bag easily. And then I keep my real wallet in the back pocket, like if I'm in an airport. I figure at least I'm only going to lose one of them that way. Obviously, once we're settled at a hotel, then I'll leave my real wallet back in the hotel locked in the safe and just bring my travel wallet with me. So that's where I'd keep my everything else card, my gas card, that kind of stuff. And then my asthma inhaler stays in there. When I'm traveling by plane and stuff, I always have a charging cable for my phone, usually two kinds, the one with the thick USB, the one with the little tiny USB, earplugs, Kleenexes, stuff to blow my nose with, couple ibuprofen, some anti-diarrhea pills, because that always happens when you first few days of travel, some Tums and Rolaids. If I have to pay for something with cash and, get back coins like this British pound coin, that'll go in there. So my pockets are already a little bit full. So I prefer the crossbody bag over jabbing stuff in. When I'm traveling domestically, it varies. Sometimes I have it, sometimes I don't. It's just kind of what mood I'm in for stuff. So yeah, thanks for the question. Mike Newland asked this question: is Rove exposing how weak some hotel redemptions really are compared to flexible Chase points? And I asked if he could expand on that a little. He says, the premise of the question is basically, is Rove killing the other travel portals? But I was trying to gear it towards Chase because that's kind of your theme of the day. Is Rove making it harder on them? Well, I don't see Rove as a game changer in terms of like ruining portals and stuff altogether. I do see Rove as healthy competition that will shave just a little bit off of them. So I like the fact that Rove has the ability to use Rove points at a pretty consistent increased 1.5 to 1.67 cents per point in their own portals, which means you're basically getting like every 6th or 7th hotel for free. So I like that. Whereas with Chase, you only get the point boosts on the hotel they want to have boosted. We were seeing today, those were on the higher end hotels. Your Holiday Inn Express in Ottumwa, your Holiday Inn Express in Ogallala, Nebraska, they don't have points boost. So you're not getting the 1.5, you're not getting the benefit or joy. So I think for people like myself, if I end up transitioning into more of like a cash back position, or a couple years down the road, I'm really relying on the Aeroplan, boom, pay yourself back trick, the Aeroplan Caravan, I think Rove will fit a lot better. Now, the problem is getting every 6th or 7th hotel for free. I want every hotel to be free. So there's only so much you can do with that. So Rove does have limitations in that regards. Whereas with, the San Antonio Riverwalk, I got that for free. Of course, you have to take that into consideration with the CSR has an annual fee. The Rove portal doesn't have an annual fee you have to pay for. So Rove has a way to go. I know when Rove first came out, there was something like they ultimately decided not to launch their own credit card. In some ways, I wish they would, if it was even like halfway decent. Like if they just cloned the Wells Fargo autograph or something like that. 3x on dining, 3x on transit, 3x on travel, tolls, ferries, bridges, that kind of stuff. I think I would become a hugely, bigly Rove user if they had that kind of thing. I don't like the fact that I have to do like, this ecosystem is my trick for saving on American. This ecosystem is for Capital One, how I get all these Capital One offers and stuff. This ecosystem is for Chase and doing Hyatt and that kind of stuff, or edit properties. I don't like having a lot here and there. So if Rove had their own credit card and it had decent insurances and that kind of stuff, I very well may get it and start trimming back on some other stuff. Texas Dog dropped a $1.99 super chat. Celebrate. Thank you so much, Texas Dog. Feeding the algorithm, even here on the later part of the show. I really like it. Coder says the IHG credit definitely makes the CSR more appealing to me. Maybe I'll be under 524 someday to try and get it. Based on the new lingo that you can get a sign-up bonus for the CSR and a CSP, and they're looked at separately. My wife has never had the CSR. So if we downgrade her CSP to something else and apply for the CSR, maybe she can get it with the welcome bonus. Gentleman Explorer says, I booked an IHG with edit/IHG hotel credit, and it shows up in my IHG app as a direct booking. That's good to know. Hey, did you change your avatar while the show was going? I really like the Sherlock Holmes one. I mean, Beastie Boys have their own place in American society, don't get me wrong. Tia Rico says, October of 24, I stayed at the Hilton Hampton Inn Seaport, walked to Enterprise, great experience for a 2-day rental, 1 day to see Cape Cod, Plymouth Rock, and 1 day for Concord and Lexington. If I had a longer trip, I would do that. I don't know if 4 days I want to do the museums and stuff, but if it was a 7-day trip, I would totally do that. I'd love to drive out to the tip of Cape Cod someday. Jazz Fan says, Aeropan Pay Yourself Back plus Rove is a nice combo. Yep, I just wish 2 things. I wish it was easier to earn Chase points, and I wish that it wasn't capped. Coder says, I feel like Rove's a great value add for cash back travelers. Absolutely. And someday I need to reevaluate that. I tried a cash back for travel strategy a couple years ago, and it just didn't work out. The problem is I'm really good at finding outsized value, although it's never consistent. It's always like, you know, that kind of stuff. A little here, a little there, a little everywhere. No Way says, Kimpton Santo is on the end of the river walk. Bring your walking shoes. Expensive parking, too. Yeah, this would be the kind of situation where I wouldn't want to rent a car. I would want to just rely on walking/transit. New Again says Rove is not good for cashback. I hope I didn't give the impression that I thought it was. What I meant is, like, if you have a cashback strategy from elsewhere using your Citi Custom Cash, your Wells Fargo Autograph, your PayPal debit card, your US Bank Cash Plus card, and you're earning a lot of cash back that you earmark for travel, then spend it on Rove to book their hotels, get a lot of points, and then use those points. That's what I meant. I'm sorry if I didn't make that clear. 74 people have hung in there, and I appreciate each and every one of you. All right. Thank you, Mike, for your question. Thank you, Ron, for your question. Let's see. The only other question is from A Discreet Firm, and he guessed Conwy for the location. And then Ron Byrne guessed that's a castle in Wales. And I said, it is, but I can only give half points. You need to be more specific. So Ron was correct. Wales, the country, you get half points. So 500 Dugroz points. Discreet Firm got the exact answer. This is Conwy Castle in the town of Conwy, Wales. North part of Wales. Went there on vacation last summer. It was great. 5 out of 5. 5 out of 10 would recommend. Here's a couple other pictures of it. So this is taking a look through the suspension bridge. My wife took pictures of my kids. The castle itself was built in medieval times. The suspension bridge was built in the 1800s, but they did make it look like the same as the castle, which I really appreciated. Here's me up inside the castle. It's a very castle-y castle. Here's the castle on the approach driving in. And here's me standing inside the castle. And I think that is about it. Oops, shared the wrong tab. There's me standing inside the castle. And I think that's about it. Hey, you can see my cross body bag laying there in the corner. So I had it with me, but it got hot that day. It wasn't supposed to be hot, but it got hot. QC Man gifts 1 Dugroz Reports membership. Thank you, QC Man. Celebrate. I really appreciate that. That's just as good as a $3 super chat. Tia Rico says, Wales, the country? Well, if you ask someone from Wales, is Wales a country? They are going to say yes. So the United Kingdom is often referred to as a country of countries. England, Scotland, Northern Ireland, and Wales are the constituent countries. Right, Sam? UK castles are cool. I agree. Jazz Fan says, at best, a smash and grab card for my money. Are you talking about the CSR? I gotcha. That's kind of how I felt mostly. So we'll just see how my proclivities all line up come August or September when I'm all done with it. QCMS says, well, Wales is a country in the UK. I agree with that. All right, let's go ahead and review those who made contributions and or celebrated anniversaries today. LN got the ball rolling with a $1.49 super sticker. Ian K chipped in with $1.99. Vincent celebrated 21 months of membership. Double Animal Fries celebrated 8 months of membership. Gentleman Explorer gifted 1 Dugroz Reports membership. There's that Sherlock Holmes mascot I mentioned. Ian celebrated 19 months of channel membership. George Rommel donated $4.99. John gifted 1 Dugroz Reports membership, just as good as a $3 super chat. Coder joined as a member while the channel was going. Thank you. Texas Dog donated $1.99, and then QC Man came in and donated 1 Dugroz Reports membership, also as good as a $3 super chat. Sam says the full name of the United Kingdom is United Kingdom, Great Britain, and Northern Ireland. It sure is. New Again says, to be frank, there isn't a card that's $3.99 and above that's truly a keeper card. I hear ya. Sleepy Rod says there's so many cards above $3.99 that are keeper cards. If you added For Me and For Me, I really like corn. I would agree with you. I've kept the Venture X for a long time. I kept the US Bank Altitude Reserve for a long time. And yeah, it's $4.25. So I guess I'm breaking that rule. There's different ways you can play it. I would really like to trim back on some of those annual fees, though. On your way out the door, Sam reminds us to hit the like button, and I appreciate that. So I'm going to go ahead and end it there for the day. Thank you to everyone who joined in. Thank you to the 75 people who stayed on board. Oh, last minute question. QC man, do you have both IHG cards for 2 free nights? I do not. I did it one time. I got sick of the free night certificates because I was always using them for last second bad value. I just don't want to mess with that anymore. I can do a whole video sometime on free hotel night to how much you travel ratio and what's ideal there. Coder says the Palladium is going to be a keeper card for me, assuming it lasts. Again, thank you to the 75 people who stayed on board. And as always, may your spending be frugal and may your points be plenteous. Thanks.